We understand that the Biden campaign, or just Biden's system in general, is very formal and formulaic. He's going to go through some pretty intense work over the coming days.
Also, we don't know exactly how long officially he is in Camp David. He's there now. He got there today. The FAA has cleared that airspace through Thursday. So reading the tea leaves, he'll be back in a week, the day of the debate, maybe sooner. But yeah, they are planning the debate with Ron Klain, his former chief of staff, who helped him prepare the last time he faced Trump. Also, Anita Dunn, Mike Donnellan, and Jake Sullivan, and a few others, Steve Ricchetti, who are just people who he knows, he's been comfortable with. And part of the strategy that we're hearing at Bloomberg is that maybe Biden should just let Trump be Trump and let those moments unfold so that he can take the high road. Let's see what happens.
Do you think that's part of the strategy? Because at this point in this debate, you can turn off somebody's microphone. So just let him go and let him go. And then the microphone may just be shut right off.
Absolutely, it might be shut off. And I think that's really interesting. I would hate to be the person who has their finger on that button to either shut off the current president or a former president. That's a pretty powerful move and a big deal. But this debate is coming when they are in dead heat. The latest poll that I saw today came from The Economist and YouGov, and 42% of those polled say they're going for Biden. 42% say they're voting for Trump. I mean, we are neck and neck. So this debate really does matter.
And of course, it depends on the poll you're looking at. We also got a poll out from Fox News. Granted, this is a national poll, and we are still months out from the election, and this is well within the margin of error. But it actually shows Biden leading Trump by 2 points. That's a 3-point improvement since the last time Fox did this poll last month, Saleha. How many polls will it take to establish a pattern?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you could look at the polls. You could also follow the money.
Sure.
We are seeing that Trump is pulling ahead of Biden in terms of campaign financing and raising money, undercutting the key advantage that Biden has had up until now, which is money. Trump has been ahead in the polls. Biden's been ahead in raising money, but that's starting to shift.
Along the lines of polls, do you expect to see some sort of bump for either candidate after this first debate?
I don't know. This is such an early debate. I don't know if we've ever had one. They aren't even officially their party candidates. The conventions don't start until next month. I don't know what it's like when the American public is not quite as tuned into the elections. We're in Washington. Of course, we're tuned in. But is the American electorate tuned in now, or are they just waiting to get through their awesome summer vacations and tune back in August and September? I don't know.
Bloomberg, Saleha, Mohsin, thanks so much for being with us. And President Biden may be hunkering down at Camp David to prepare for the debate with aides, but Donald Trump taking a different approach. He'll be holding a rally in Philadelphia this weekend and will attend a few fundraisers over the next few days. Joining us now is Bloomberg's Hadriana Lowenkron, who covers the Trump campaign. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Julie.
This is a completely different tactic than President Biden is taking, just to go on the campaign trail. But if you remember back to 2020 and 2016, the former president had a much different way of preparing for debates.
Right. I mean, everything about this race, Trump and Biden, where we are now is so unprecedented. It almost makes no sense to try to compare to previous cycles. But as you mentioned, Trump, again, lost a lot of time on the campaign trail when he was in the courtroom. So he is making up ground there. So we are seeing him. He was just in Wisconsin on Tuesday. He's going to be in Philadelphia. These are important swing states here. And fundraising, as Saleha just mentioned, really catching up to Biden in terms of bringing in that money. But what's important, actually, is looking at what his circle of surrogates are doing. These are people who are in these are people are here who could potentially be his VP. There's a narrowing list of people. It could be Stefanik. It could be Donald's. Donald's is hosting one of these fundraisers. So they're out and about. They're at an event in D.C. this weekend. They're accompanying Trump to the debate next week. So we'll really see from him not just Trump at the debate, but looking at who the people are around him. Maybe we'll have a sense at who VP or cabinet picks could be coming up.
Well, and that's why we were also fascinated with what took place here in Washington yesterday when Senator Tim Scott went to a pseudo fundraiser policy kind of summit with Bill Ackman, Mark Andreessen, powerful guys with money, maybe trying to show off that fundraising capability within his network. Hadriana, do we have an understanding of whether that's the kind of thing that to Team Trump would put Tim Scott ahead?
Tim Scott definitely does bring in the money, and we all know money is everything in politics. As you mentioned, he has these Wall Street ties. He also can really help court black voters, Hispanic voters, this demographic that Trump really does need. We're seeing, favorability to Biden actually lessen among these key demographics. So Scott can bring that. Scott can bring the money. He's also younger than Trump. So he can reach out and court these younger voters as well. So he has a lot going for him. Of course, we have J.D. Vance, we have Rubio. There's so many people, and they all bring so many different things. So we'll see what's to come of this.
What do you expect to see next week, early next week and mid next week, in terms of the former president getting ready for the debate? Like, obviously, he's campaigning this weekend, but at some point he probably will hunker down and do a little bit of preparation. What's your expectation on that?
Right. So he will be speaking with his advisors, speaking with people in terms of the policy. And what will be interesting in this debate versus on the campaign trail, where he has his rallies, he has his key supporters, but they might not be too interested in the nitty gritty of the policy. And so him working with his advisors and figuring out policy, the economy is top of mind, the border, those are things that maybe we'll see more fleshed out in the debate when we're comparing that to Biden's policies and Biden's term that he's had. So really policy, I think, will be a big thing for us to look at.